Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning. Come on in, dry off, have a seat. Welcome to Sunday soggy morning at the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Miami. My name is Alex Kolaitzi. For anyone I haven't had the pleasure of meeting yet, I am the Director of Music here at UU Miami. Good morning to everybody joining us on the live stream today. Please feel free to grab a candle or a chalice that you can light with us when we light our chalice a little later in the service. Our first hymn this morning, I'm so glad that it was chosen because I know it's a fan favorite of many people in here. It's in the gray hymnal number 361, Enter, Rejoice, and Come In. Please have a stand in body or spirit and join in the singing. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Open your ears to the song. Open your ears to the song. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Open your hearts, everyone. Open your hearts, everyone. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Don't be afraid of some change. Don't be afraid of some change. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in.
Well, good morning. I know it's a little wet out there, but it is a good morning. Welcome to our multi-platform space here at the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Miami, or as we affectionately call it, UU Miami. As a member of the Unitarian Universalist Association of Congregations, or the UUA, we bring a liberal religious voice to the great city of Miami. Magic City. Is that what it is? Magic City. I need to talk about that sometime. I'm Reverend Tom Capo. I'm the minister here. You met Alex, and this is Joseph over here, a very accomplished pianist. My pronouns are he, him, his. I am a white cisgender male, and I am wearing Mardi Gras themed tie today because we have a Mardi Gras themed lunch today. So if you like gumbo, it's I don't know what else there is, but I saw the gumbo being brought in. So UU Miami wants to acknowledge that we gather on the traditional lands of the Tequesta, Seminole, and Miccosukee people, and we honor with gratitude the land itself and the people who steward it for generations. You know, we say this, I affirm this every time, and I want us to think about what this acknowledgement means to us and how we live our lives and how we live on this property. Last week, we spent some time getting rid of some of the non-native plants, and I hear that we are going to continue that process in a few weeks, so keep an eye out for recognition of that. We'll get in here and take some more of the non-native plants out, and so that our property is, not only native plants, but plants that thrive in this environment. So, right. So this UU Miami is a community of brave, curious, and compassionate thinkers and doers, and we invite you to learn more about us. You can go to the Facebook page, the Instagram, LinkedIn, our webpage, or you can call or talk to me at minister@uumiami.org for more information. If you've attended our services for a while, maybe a few times or more, you think about becoming a member to support this community. Now, we're going to say our covenant. Let's see, give them a second to bring up the covenant. One more, keep going. Oh, it's a couple more. There it is, all right, there we go. All right, please join me in our covenant. We are an open, welcoming community who embodies respect, kindness, compassion, and curiosity. We foster a safe space that invites others to express their authentic, creative, and unique ideas. We build relationships with one another by listening deeply with understanding and respect. We make a positive difference in our community using our combined talent, time, and treasure. Oh, I missed one up. We are committed to embracing learning, growth, and change.
It is our tradition to light a chalice at the beginning of our services. Our chalice lighting words this morning were written by Unitarian Universalist Gene M. Olson. Oh, sorry. I tried so hard to bring him up to my level. I spoke eloquent words of encouragement, and he struggled but could not rise. I pulled with one hand and then two, and tried to lift him, to pick him up, and carry him, all to no avail. Hot and exhausted, I finally sat down next to him, and he gave me some cool water to drink. Suddenly, we were both there. We will now take this time to sing the children and youth out to their classes. I see you all in the back. You know what to do. Yeah? Thank you. If you know the song, please sing along. May your mind be open to new learning. May your lips bring truth into the world. May your heart know love and your hands do the work of justice as you go your way in peace. As you go your way in peace.
Each week, it's not on? Okay, it'll be on a second. Each week we gather together. We take some time to share the joys and sorrows that are on our hearts. We do this so that as a community we can walk with you and be happy for you, and that we can walk with you and hold your hand and know you're not alone when you're in sorrow. So I invite those who wish to come forward and share their joy or sorrow with this beloved community. Please say your name as you share.
Good morning, I'm Bob Jacober, and I'm normally here with Joy. Good morning, UU Miami Sunday. For me, it's always a fun day. I come to be with UU friends and learn about our latest trends. We study justice, right from wrong, and sing a hymn and hear a song, and create a tribal warmth for me, which has more value than any equity, the market value of everything from real estate to a wedding ring.
Good morning. My name is Carly Pulaski, she, her. Some of you might know me from formerly being the RE director. Now you might know me as just someone in the pews, the little extra leg room back there in Charles's row. I just wanted to reflect on a little nugget of joy this past week. So we celebrated Valentine's Day, my first Valentine's Day with my fiance. You might know her. For those of you who don't know, she's over there. So we did a little something, and we didn't tell any of our family about it. We sent, especially the older folks, and some of you might know that there's a lot of folks in my family facing cancer on both sides, and we decided to send out little Valentines to them, little pictures. And I was really struck by how much it gave me to share that and let those people in my life that mean so much to me, that I was thinking of them, and really just kind of that circle of appreciation. And I'm just trying to bring a little more of that into the rest of this month, appreciating the folks that do so many things behind the scenes, like these folks up here, for all of the things that I do know, but all of the things that I don't know that they're going through. And so I appreciate you all. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Diane. I have both a sorrow and a joy. I found out this week that I lost a soul that had been a big part of my life, and I've been thinking a lot about it, but not talking much about it. So I've just been kind of struggling with the idea that all the memories of that person, there will never be any more of them. It's like a finite amount. And you always think you have, I don't know, more time, or I don't know, I'm kind of struggling with that idea. And then the other is a joy. Christmas time, here at the church, a very nice person who is a person here in this church made these little cloth things that you put in the microwave, so you could put a hot bowl on. And every day I use that thing, and it just reminds me how a little tiny act of kindness can last. It can bring so much joy and can last so much. And I love that. I smile every time, and it represents the community, and it represents someone being kind and helpful. And I love that little cloth thing.
Good morning. I'm Luigi Ferrer, and I have both joy and sorrow. I am sorry that I missed the cleanup last week. I was with my mom in Puerto Rico, spending some time with her. Many of you know that she's got Alzheimer's. The joy this time is that she didn't once ask me who I was. She was like, right there. So that was wonderful. The sorrow around it is that when she forgets things that upset her, we have to remind her, and then she gets upset all over again. And that came up a lot this time. So thank you all.
My name is Meade Overbeck. I'm a snowbird from Kentucky. I grew up here, and this is my second home church. But today I do a Sangha in the morning with my home group, and I'm able to Zoom it. And we had a death in the group, and also that just evokes memories of Carol Gassaway, who is also seeming to probably leaving soon the earth plane. And I've just been thinking, it's just memories, really, that we have. But the other thing that came up is somebody in my Sangha said, well, I'm alone. All I have is my husband, and I don't know what'll happen. And because Carol Gassaway's been taken care of too, and she is somewhat alone. And I said, well, the church, LOL, but really it is. What a community that we have for each other. So I just want to acknowledge that. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Hello, I am Derek Mustelier, the live stream person. I have an online sorrow, I guess it would be. Yeah. Maureen Sullivan, her major professor in grad school, just passed away, and he was a wonderful person that made her the botanist that she is today. So.
So it's not really a sorrow, but something kind of happened to me last week. I was on my way to work, and I was hit on the highway. I had a horrible car accident. And I went into an 18-wheeler truck going by at a very quick speed, and honestly, in that moment, I didn't think that I was going to come out of it. So I am amazed and so eternally grateful. I look at all that happened. I ended up in the middle of 836, so it was truly a miracle, and every single day I pray with gratitude. Really, I'm very grateful. So that's my joy. Thank you.
For all those joys and sorrows expressed, and those not expressed but still very much in our hearts, we are all blessed. I have a reading for you this morning. It's from the Big Cities Health Coalition blog. It's called Understanding Equity and Justice, and it's from May 2022. Equity is distinct and different from equality, and both are different than justice. Equality requires that every person or community receives the exact same resources and opportunities. Equity, however, acknowledges that everyone doesn't start from the same place in life. People and communities have been differentially impacted by a variety of circumstances, structures, and historical contexts that have intentionally advantaged some while unjustly and intentionally disadvantaging others. As a result, those who have been disadvantaged require a differential allocation of resources and opportunities. If you'll refer to the images as we go along. Inequality results in unequal access to opportunities. Two people stand under a tree. One has fruit falling into their hands, the other does not, and looks perplexed. Equality, evenly distributed tools and assistance. Two people standing under that same tree, fruit tree, both on ladders of equal height, but one person's ladder is positioned such that they cannot reach any of the fruit. Equity. Custom tools that identity and that address inequality. Two people standing under a fruit tree. They are standing on ladders of different heights so that both can reach the fruit. And the final one, justice. Notice the difference. Fixing the system to offer equal access to tools and opportunities. Two people standing under the same fruit tree, both on ladders of equal height. The tree is propped upright so each can reach fruit. At its core, equity requires acknowledgement, accountability, and action, acknowledging that structural injustices have caused disproportionate harm, being accountable and taking responsibility for harms, and taking action to remedy those harms. However, those actions and remedies must give disproportionately more to those who have been harmed the most. Equity requires that all individuals and populations are valued equally. Historical injustices are recognized and rectified, and resources are provided according to the need. Justice. Justice embraces the requirements, but goes a step further. It requires repairing and transforming circumstances, structures, context, and systems themselves so that they achieve and sustain equity and justice through proactive and preventative measures.
It is now time for our offering. For those of you who are watching our service online, I invite you to take out your smartphone and point it to the QR code that you see on the screen. If you're in the sanctuary, you are welcome to do this as well. It will open to our UU Miami donation page. If you are present with us in the sanctuary, a basket will also be passed around for your donation. Please be sure to let us know if it's a one-time donation or if it's a pledge to the church if you're donating online. Today, you'll have the opportunity to not only donate to our congregation, but also to the Women's Emergency Network, or WEN. The Women's Emergency Network is a nonprofit organization that assists individuals in exercising their right to reproductive choice. They believe that every individual must have the right to decide if and when to have children. This congregation is sacred to so many of us, a community of memory and of hope. Let there be an offering to sustain and strengthen this place and the work we do in the world, for we are now the keepers of the dream.
We are family, that's for sure. I think we should have sang that, but all right, that's all right. We can do Now is time for prayer or meditation. Each of us has our own way of entering that space. The reading that I'll be using today for this is Unitarian Universalist Minister Reverend Tamara Labach. That's her words. You might find your space that feels comfortable for you as you listen to these words. Some people take a deep breath and let their eyelids rest. Place your hands in your lap. Whatever feels comfortable for you. And bring your attention inside as you listen to these words. May we remember this day, at this time, that in this country there is no national religion. There is no superior race. There is no preferable gender or orientation. We gather holding a common value, that the glory of this country rests first and foremost in its diversity. Out of many ideas, many beliefs, many views, many voices, many passions, many experiences, we are one. May we never forget that we need not be alike to live and love alike. May we forgive ourselves and begin again in love when we have chosen inaction or silence in the face of injustice, when we had failed to claim our own power. May we forgive ourselves and begin again in love when we have not known our neighbor, not fed the hungry, not equipped our future generation with knowledge and the love they need. May we pledge our voices in support of moving closer and closer to freedom, equity, and justice for all. May these and the meditations that are on our hearts right now enter the silence and move out into the world. In the name of those who have come before and those who have yet to be, in the names of all the helpers of humankind, I say, Amen.
Our special music this morning is called National Anthem, Arise, Arise by Jean Rohe. I have to give a little shout out to Beverly Cardona, one of our members, for sending this song to me. The choir will be singing this song in May. I will not be singing all of the verses right now, and you will not have all of the magical harmonies that they will sing, so please do look forward to that. But the words are very apt for our service today, so please enjoy and reflect on the words of National Anthem, Arise, Arise. Atlantic and Pacific flow, the Great Lakes and the Gulf of Mexico, the land between sustains us all. To cherish it, our tireless call. Arise, arise, I see the future in your eyes. To a more perfect union we aspire, and lift our voices from the fire. We reached these shores from many lands. We came with hungry hearts and hands. Some came by force and some by will, at the auction block or the darkened mill. Arise, arise, I see the future in your eyes. To a more perfect union we aspire, and lift our voices from the fire. And our great responsibility to be guardians of our liberty, till tyrants bow to the people's dream, and justice flows like a mighty stream. Arise, arise, I see the future in your eyes. To a more perfect union we aspire, and lift our voices from the fire. Arise, arise, I see the future in your eyes. To a more perfect union we aspire, and lift our voices from the fire.
Well, this is Black History Month. It's an annual recognition of achievements by African Americans and a time to recognize their central role in U.S. history. So this morning, in addition to discussing equity, I want to share with you a couple little-known figures of Black history. These passages come from a book called A Black Woman's History of the United States, which I highly recommend, by Diana Ramey Berry and Callie Nicole Gross. Aurelia Shines was born in Alabama in 1919. And as a girl, she went to school and also helped her family work on the farm. Aurelia loved to put fruits and vegetables up in the market. She was a seamstress, a mother of 6, and eventually a widow. In her 30s, she worked hard to finish college, earning a degree from Alabama State College. She was also a midwife. She often used the buses in Montgomery, Alabama, riding as many times as 4 times a day to various appointments. At age 37, in 1955, Aurelia was arrested for refusing to give up her seat on the bus to a white person. Though this act of defiance is most commonly associated with the brave action of Rosa Parks in December 1955, Rosa was not the first black woman to protest such racist treatment in this way. In fact, she was not even the first black woman to do it that year. Aurelia refused to move off of her seat on April 29, 1955, a few months before Parks' action. Moreover, Aurelia's act of civil disobedience was not even the first time Aurelia had refused to submit to racist segregation on public buses. She had also refused to give up her seat in 1948. In that instance, the bus driver detained her rather than dragging her to the police station. Aurelia was taken by the bus driver to the stop where he picked her up, and she had to walk to her intended destination. Aurelia, who herself was pregnant at the time, had been headed to another delivery, which she missed. My friends, it can be uncomfortable to hear many stories from black history like this one. Basic human rights unjustly refused time and time again. Yet we must embrace this history to begin to understand our current issues. The issues of equality, equity, and justice. But it is so hard to embrace our history when our governor and the Florida legislature have passed laws prohibiting children from learning any black history, any history that would make them feel uncomfortable. And isn't a lot of black history uncomfortable? How can children learn what equality, equity, and justice are if teachers cannot share true life examples of injustice? If they don't learn about the Jim Crow laws, which weren't even repealed until 1965, or water fountains labeled colored, or seats on buses being available to everyone so long as a person of color didn't sit in a white section, or so long as people of color were willing to give up their seats to a white person when the bus was full. What false narratives are going to be taught to our children and youth and even young adults about slavery, about federally approved or state-sanctioned racism, about murders at peaceful rallies for civil rights? How many of you remember this incident? It was on July 4th, 2018. Media outlets across the country blazed images of a black woman clad in dark shorts and a gray t-shirt with bright white letters that read, "Trump care makes us sick." The unknown woman had somehow scaled the base of the Statue of Liberty on Liberty Island and planted herself at its feet to protest the treatment of migrant children, primarily those from Central America, separated from their families at the U.S. border and placed in cages. The detainments under the zero-tolerance policy of the Trump administration had been widely denounced, especially after a number of children died in custody and thousands more showed signs of physical, sexual, and mental abuse. In 95-degree heat, 44-year-old Teresa Patricia Akimu refused to come down and was not dislodged until two officers forcibly removed her after the 3-hour standoff. She was arrested along with 7 other members of Rise and Resist, a direct action group dedicated to advocating for immigrants' rights. Patricia's climb on Independence Day, which celebrates freedom, at the Statue of Liberty embodies black women's history in the United States. That Patricia went to jail on the behalf of migrant children's rights exists as an extension of black women's organizing. Because in just about every battle that black women have undertaken in the United States, every battle, every barrier that they have shattered, every first accomplishment they have secured, their actions have paved the way not for just other black women, but for all marginalized peoples. And today there are still barriers. There are modern Jim Crow systems active in our country even as we speak. Consider the difficulty that black people have securing a home loan, despite laws that say that anyone should be able to get a loan. There's certain criteria you have to meet. But a black loan applicant in the United States is more than twice as likely to be denied a home mortgage as a white applicant. That's from 2022. What about the equality of health care for black people? In 2005, the National Academy of Medicine reported that minority persons are less likely than white persons to be given appropriate cardiac care, to receive kidney dialysis or transplants, to receive the best treatments for stroke, cancer, or AIDS. This substandard medical care occurs across the board. The rate at which black patients have had their limbs amputated is higher than for whites. Black patients with bipolar disorder are more likely to be treated with antipsychotics, despite evidence that these medicines have long-term negative effects and are not effective. But here's the thing. Equality in laws does not mean there is equity or justice in our country. I have some more images for us to take a look at to consider the differences this morning. Many of the laws in this country are based on equality. However, the laws on equality assume a common baseline. A baseline of being white, most often male, most often well-incomed, having been brought up in a home with an intact family, family meaning a mother and a father, that has a generational history of being white, with a male head of household, well-income, and intact. When any of these qualities is not met or is not the case, policies promoting equality generally do not actually give the same opportunities to succeed in this country. I'll tell you a secret. In the United States right now, there are multiple attacks on equity and diversity. If you didn't know. I know you're shocked. It's not just a Florida thing. For decades, affirmative action and our institutions of higher learning have attempted to address some of the inequities in the admission process. These colleges and universities also offered monetary support and even social and emotional support to people of color. In the spring of 2023, our esteemed governor, signed a bill into law banning the state's public colleges and universities from spending money on diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. DeSantis said during a news conference at New College of Florida in Sarasota, if you look at the way this has actually been implemented across the country, diversity, equity, and inclusion is better viewed as standing for discrimination, exclusion, and indoctrination. This is their spin. By the way, this year, DeSantis decided to take control of New College, if you hadn't heard. It was once known as Florida's Public Honors College, but now more than a third of the faculty have resigned. 125 of the students chose not to return. The diversity office has been abolished. The diversity chief and academic librarian, both LGBTQ, were fired. The board of trustees, faculty members quit after 5 professors were denied tenure, and some new administrators were hired into top posts. And they didn't have any background in academia, but rather a connection to Republican state politics. Okay. Back to the image, sorry. I got it. I was in the pulpit, so. Let's look at this image first under equality. You see 3 people watching a soccer game. The assumption is that everyone benefits from the same supports. Again, very similar to what we saw earlier with the trees, but you'll notice that someone is not able to even see. This represents what many on the far right politically assume equality is. The middle image, equity, illustrates what it's like when everyone gets the support they need. That's a concept of like affirmative action I was talking about with the colleges. And then the third image, justice. All 3 people see the game without supports or accommodations because the causes of inequity are addressed. The systemic barrier has been removed. Systemic barriers. How many of you have heard the story of the babies in the river? I know I've told at least a few people. You're going to hear it again, but that's all right. There was a town next to a river. One day a young woman was walking along the river and she saw a baby floating in a basket down the river. She rushed out, grabbed the baby. By the time she returned to the shore, the townspeople had gathered. They talked about how to and who would care for the baby. And as they were talking, another baby floated by. A few of the townspeople rushed out and got that baby. Now more people from the town were gathering. It was decided that they needed to figure out not only what to do with these babies, but any of the other babies that might come down the river. So just as they were implementing their plans, more and more babies began floating down the river. Over time, the townspeople became more and more effective and efficient in helping the babies as they were coming down the river. And more babies did. After many months of taking care of the river babies, we'll call them that, the townspeople gathered to celebrate their efficiency in caring for all these babies. And one young woman, perhaps the one that found the first baby, I don't know, got up and said to everyone, "Shouldn't we figure out where all these babies are coming from? Why are all these babies coming down the river?" When there is injustice, we have to ask, where are the babies coming from? Or in our case, what is the source of the inequity? It is certainly much easier to get caught up in trying to fix the injustices with laws and policies. And I'm not suggesting that we give up on policies that promote equity. But in addition to that, we need to start trying to figure out how to address some of the issues that are causing the inequity and injustice. How can we work for systemic change? We can start creating systems that address issues such as racism, prejudice, poverty, generational wealth. What if we could all work together on dismantling a capitalism that supports extreme wealth and values stock dividends over people's lives and the health of our planet? I know there are plenty of people that believe that pure capitalism is the foundation of democracy, but I'm not one of them. I'm guessing many of you are not either. The reality is we are not a purely capitalist country, nor are any democratic country. We have to figure out, as we come into this election cycle, if we can elect legislators who understand that and don't think that it's weak to be kind or compassionate and to pass laws that address some of these issues. We need to elect legislators who will build a system to help all people in whatever way they need help. Legislators who will remove barriers that might keep people from thriving. Now, this might seem like a lofty goal. You might even wonder if it's achievable. I can only tell you that I hope it is. I believe that if we keep asking questions, trying to figure out how our laws, policies, systems can be better for all people, with an understanding of diverse backgrounds, histories, and needs, maybe eventually things will change. And I invite you to join me in this, for it will take all of us for real, just, systemic change to happen. And I will tell you this, it may not happen in our lifetime. Probably won't. But that doesn't mean we should quit. I believe if you and I keep planting the seeds of justice, equity, and compassion in the rocky soil that is our country's current political system, eventually our grandchildren or maybe our great-grandchildren will be able to enjoy the sweet fruits of our tireless labor, and everyone will have equal access to the tools and opportunities that they need. It takes all of us, people like you and I, never stopping, trying to fix our broken system. May it be so.
Our closing hymn today is in the Teal hymnal number 1017, Building a New Way. We will sing all 4 verses. Please feel free to stand in body or spirit and join in the singing. We are building a new way. We are building a new way. We are building a new way, feeling stronger every day. We are building a new way. We are working to be free. We are working to be free. We are working to be free. Hate and greed and jealousy. We are working to be free. We can feed our every need. We can feed our every need. We can feed our every need. Start with love, that is the seed. We can feed our every need. Peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Without these, this world will die. Peace and freedom is our cry.
Well, we end with some gratitudes and some announcements, and then we get to eat some lunch. So there you go. Thanks to all of our professional and volunteer staff. Let's give a hand to our church board. We need to give them they work hard. And our committees, and Cheryl and our business office, who we don't know what we can do without her. Child care workers, our yoga, Lowe's, our Alex, of course, and Joseph. Woo. And if Derek sticks his hand out, maybe we'll say hello to him. There he is, there you go, okay. Hyro, our communications director, Jessica, who's teaching our kids, and it's just everybody. Please keep an eye out in your weekly email for our newsletter, or visit our website for upcoming events. As I said, there's a lunch today. It's a $5 donation. Unless it's your first time, please just eat. We want you to join us in fellowship. Let's see. After lunch, there'll be a drum circle. That's going to be in room 3. And then after that, and I think it's 12:30, 12:40, whenever people get over there, right? That's what Martha's going to be leading. Yeah, okay. At 1, we'll have the Musar group, which will be in the across the breezeway in the Emerson room. The value we're going to study today is telling the truth. So, next week, I'll explore justice and equity through the lens of Taoism. We've never heard that before, probably. And after the service, we'll have a special speaker, Matt Anderson, the executive director of Mosaic Miami, and he's going to share with us his views on interfaith work in Miami. Very interesting. And now, Judy, will you join us? And there's a, okay. Come on, Judy.
I want to take a moment to point out that I used the handrail. Hardly anybody ever uses the handrail. You will be hearing the term time, talent, and treasure. Decades ago, Paul McCabe and I designed these handrails working with a local welding company. So if you're ever unsure, grab the handrails. That's what they're there for. And we have to be careful not to block the way. And that's been okay today. This congregation. I walked through those doors in May of 1971 at the behest of my mother, Irene Stober. I should say my darling mother, Irene Stober. But I have to say that I came through those doors kicking and screaming. Not literally, of course. I was a 29-year-old grown woman divorced with 4 children. But my mom guilt-tripped me into coming. She knew I had a very strong negative feeling about anything to do with religion. However, she said to me, I never ask much of you, but I'm going to ask you to come to church with me on Mother's Day. Well, what are you going to do? And then she pulled out a brochure from the Religious Exploration Program and said, look what they talk about here, values that we hold dear, values that can be reinforced, strengthened in our children when they hear it from another source. I had to admit, it looked pretty good. So off we went to church on Mother's Day. Part of the service was a panel discussion about a very popular, hilarious 1969 novel called Portnoy's Complaint. It was a book about Jewish identity, sexuality, and humor. I thought to myself, well, this is really different. I liked it. I liked what I discovered here. In fact, I liked it so much that I taught Sunday school for 12 years and was the director of religious exploration for 2. I was all in, baby, all in. And why? Why has it been so important for me to stay here for 51 years? Well, for one thing, I'm comfortable here. I don't mean because I know this beautiful place so well, every shape and shadow. I do love the beauty of this building and its grounds. I literally admire it every time I'm here. No, the reason I'm comfortable here is because of you, each of you. For me, it means possibility. If we can continue to love one another and practice our values, it would be hard for me to believe we couldn't make a difference. But we've got to support this organization with our time and talent and our treasure. Rick and I have increased our pledge by 10% this year. Let's keep a good thing going. Thank you. Thank you.
That was fabulous.
Thank you.
And now I have some closing words, and we can get to eating. These are words by Unitarian Universalist Reverend Rebecca Savage. This service has come to an end, but not our calling in the world. May we close our time together with the humble reminder that justice and equity are our spiritual practices to embrace. Every day, every day. We are blessed to be the embodiment of what is possible when justice and equity ground us in all that we do. May we go forth with the light and warmth of the chalice in our hearts until we meet again. I invite you to stand and look around to people you don't know too well and say hello, get to know them a little bit before we have lunch. Joseph.